So it's no secret that I like Sonic, okay?
Oh, wow! That is relatable!
I've only been making videos for a little while, and I've already done enough screaming about Sonic on the internet to prove that I'm not exactly normal about it. But despite popular belief, there actually are other people in the world who like Sonic other than me. Shocking, I know.
There's nothing wrong with it. There are dozens of us. Dozens!
When you get the odd, person like myself that claims to like Sonic, that can mean one of a bunch of different things. Although I think the obvious conclusion to be drawn would be that Sonic fans like Sonic games, at least primarily anyway. But this begs the question, just what is a Sonic game?
Hey, Vsauce. Michael here.
I don't fucking care. I don't really feel like sparking a giant philosophical debate about what does and does not constitute a Sonic game. Not really my ideal Friday night. Actually, it pretty much is my ideal Friday night. But anyway, what I mean to say is that there's a pretty good variety of gameplay styles when it comes to Sonic. I mean, you've got the adventure style games, the boost style games. Now you've got the open zone gameplay found in Sonic Frontiers. You've also got the... I don't really know what you'd call this shit. I'm gonna go with, bad. But back when Sonic made his debut on the Genesis and Mega Drive, Sonic looked less like this and more like this. I know, it's difficult to stomach after being so accustomed to the technical prowess of the 3D games, which are essentially peak realism.
Yes! My back! My back!
But yeah, at one point in time, Sonic was this, a momentum-based 2D platformer. Now, at the risk of sounding completely ridiculous, I've got something of a hot take for you guys. I actually like the classic Sonic games. Now, for all you tiny little babies who haven't figured out what sarcasm is yet, it's a joke. I know that people like the classic Sonic games. In fact, I'd argue that the classic 2D platform games are probably the single most critically acclaimed gameplay style that the Sonic franchise has to offer, which makes sense. I mean, it's definitely the most consistent gameplay style, and there's a lot to like about these games. I mean, they're pretty much endlessly replayable, and it all started with Sonic 1, obviously. Now, Sonic 1 was a pretty big win for Sega when it hit the scene in 1991, and Sega was, and still is, keenly aware of the game's massive success and impact on the gaming industry as a whole. They never miss a chance to put Sonic 1 out on basically every platform imaginable, which I guess I can't fault them for that. I mean, having a game be this accessible is better than the alternative.
You serious?
In fact, I actually think that Sega's kind of been dropping the ball on this front. I still can't play Sonic 1 on my Motorola Razr Sega. What's the fucking hold up? Oh, well. Oh my god, it looks terrible. It looks so bad. I already own Sonic 1 on like 400 different platforms. I couldn't possibly justify—
I'll take your entire stuff!
Hey, where'd you get that?
Sonic 1 tends to rank slightly below its contemporaries due to having some, growing pains. But hey, it did lay the groundwork for what Sonic is supposed to be, and levels like Green Hill Zone do a great job of showcasing what Sonic's all about. And even today, in 2023, I think the game mostly holds up. But this is all day one Sonic lore. You all should already know this, and if you don't, then
How can you live with yourself?
Now, something you might not know is that Sonic 1 also saw something of a demake for the Sega Game Gear and Sega Master System a few months after its original release on the Genesis. Now, the Master System was a console Sega put out prior to the Genesis. You can think of it as Sega's take on Nintendo's 8-bit NES console, although the Master System didn't really do particularly well for itself in North America, probably because the fucking cable comes out the goddamn side of the controller. Although apparently the Master System did enjoy some serious success in Europe and Latin America. If there's one thing I know about Europeans, it's that they love to twiddle their fingies around a little fucking cable every time they want to play Alex Kidd.
No! It can't be! No! No!
Wait a minute, this one comes out on the top. In fact, most of the controllers I could find have the cable coming out of the top. Did I just fucking gaslight myself? No, it's very clearly coming out of the side of the controller. Make up your goddamn mind, Europe. Really though, it was actually the best-selling console in Europe in 1990, even beating out the NES. And it pretty much dominated the Brazilian console market for a good while as well. In fact, I'm pretty sure that they still sell officially licensed plug-and-play Master System consoles in Brazil. That's pretty fucking sick. They look pretty interesting, but I can't really find much info on them online. If you're from Brazil and you own one of these, please let me know your thoughts on these things in the comments. I'm really curious to know more about them. Anyway, I've always found this 8-bit version of Sonic 1 pretty interesting because it's basically an entirely separate game from Sonic 1 on the Genesis. This version of the game was developed by a Japanese company called Ancient, who also apparently developed Streets of Rage 2 and 3, along with a bunch of other games that I've never heard of, with their most recent release being some weeb shit that only came out in Japan. Interestingly, in this 8-bit version of Sonic 1, Green Hill Hill, Labyrinth, and Scrap Brain zones are all here and accounted for, but Marble, Spring Yard, and Starlight zones didn't make the cut. Instead, this version offers Bridge Zone, Jungle Zone, and Sky Base Zone, which are all completely unique to the 8-bit Sonic 1. There are some unused assets hidden in the game's data that indicate that Marble Zone was actually planned for this version of the game, as indicated by these little bat guys and even an 8-bit rendition of Marble Zone's music. Ah, damn. That's really too bad. I was just dying to play Marble Zone again. Now that I know that we were so close to having another version of this fan favorite level, how am I gonna sleep at night? While we're on the topic of unused shit, these border tiles used in the underground sections of Green Hill Act 2 actually exist in the 16-bit version of Sonic 1's game data, which implies that an underground section may have been planned at one point for the Genesis version's Green Hill Zone. These underground border tiles were later used in Sonic Mania. Alright, let's keep this under control. Useless trivia about one Sonic game at a time, damn it. Stupid, stupid, stupid! Anyway, Sonic 1 8-bit is actually pretty fun, all things considered. It kind of takes a unique approach to its structure. The first act of each zone is usually pretty basic, but the second one can get pretty, what's the word I'm looking for? Oh yeah, ass! I mean, it's not all bad. I already mentioned the caves in Green Hill Zone. Those aren't really that intrusive. The waterfall climb in Jungle Zone Act 2 can be kind of annoying, but once you get the hang of it, it's not too terrible. But Scrap Brain Act 2 is a literal fucking maze. Labyrinth Zone is, well, Labyrinth Zone. And, I mean, do I really need to explain what's wrong with this?
Why are we still here? Just to suffer.
Surprisingly, this game is sorta hard. I actually game overed playing through the game for this video. I can't remember the last time I game overed in a Sonic game. This is mostly due to the game's bosses. There are no rings to collect before any of these bosses, so it's pretty much a one-hit kill for every boss fight. Unless you have a shield, in which case it's still apparently a one-hit kill. Fuck me, I guess. It's not always bullshit, but some of these deaths are just straight up not my fault. Okay, no, hold on a second. And no, this isn't some fucking skill issue copium bullshit. I swear that sometimes I press the jump button and that shit just doesn't work.
Right there! See? You see? Well, you don't see it?
Something that's pretty unique about Sonic 1 8-bit is that although there technically are special stages in the game, you won't find any Chaos Emeralds in them like you would in a typical Sonic game. You'll only find rings and extra lives and shit. Instead, the Chaos Emeralds are found in the levels themselves, just kinda lying around. It's pretty weird, but I kinda like this approach as something a little different from your typical Sonic fare. One more thing I'll add is that if you're gonna play Sonic 1 8-bit these days, I'd recommend sticking with the Master System version if you can, due to,
Ooh, that's kind of small.
Besides the screen crunch though, the Game Gear version is more or less the same as the Master System version, although there are some minor differences. For one thing, the color palette in the Game Gear version is actually slightly better than the Master System version. You can really tell the difference in the Jungle Zone. Look, there are even little apples in the Game Gear version. It's amazing to me that there are people in the world who spend their time talking about pointless shit like politics and world issues. Not me though. Background elements in a relatively obscure video game about a blue cartoon rat. Now that's what really gets my rocks off. I've also always kind of thought Sonic looks really weird in the Game Gear version of the game. I don't really know how to describe it, but it just kind of looks like he's having like an allergic reaction or something. He looks like a Cyclops. Please tell me I'm not the only one who sees this. Jungle Zone Act 2 is quite a bit easier in this version since you can actually fall down the waterfall without dying like in the Master System version. Oh, and get this. To find the last Chaos Emerald in the game, at the beginning of Skybase Act 2, you're supposed to make a blind leap of faith onto this tiny floating platform that's off screen. The game gives absolutely zero indication that this is down here, and it's mandatory that you know that this is here to get the good ending. This is some seriously evil shit. I don't have any idea how the fuck you're supposed to know about this without looking up a guide or just blind luck. Luckily in the Master System version, you actually can barely see this platform at the start of the stage, so it's slightly more forgivable there. Although there's another fucking leap of faith in Scrap Brain Zone to find another Chaos Emerald. This is pretty shit game design, and I should know. I'm a YouTuber, and everybody knows that YouTubers are never wrong. They really should have put like a ring or something here to indicate that there's something down here other than death. But then again, I found this Chaos Emerald on my first playthrough just by sheer dumb luck. So maybe if you have a superior gaming intellect like me, you won't have any issues. Anyway, overall, Sonic 1 8-bit is a pretty fun little game that I think has enough to offer to be worth a shot, even if you've already played the 16-bit original. It's got some issues, but it's also pretty interesting in that it's sort of like an alternate universe version of Sonic 1. If you're a fan of 2D Sonic, I'd recommend checking it out. I mean, among the countless versions of Sonic 1 Sega's released over the years, you could do much worse than this.
Get out of my sight.
Now, with how ludicrously accessible the 16-bit version of Sonic 1 is, you'd think that the 8-bit version would also be relatively easy to get a hold of. But it's actually pretty difficult to get your hands on an official re-release of this game these days, especially the superior Master System version. As far as I'm aware, the only time the Master System version of the game has been officially re-released was for the Wii Virtual Console, which has been defunct since 2019, so that's not really an option anymore. The inferior cut beta bastard Game Gear version of this game is technically still available through the 3DS eShop, although come March 27th of this year, the 3DS eShop will also be shut down, so how the hell are you supposed to play this game? Well, the Game Gear version was re-released as part of Sonic Mega Collection Plus for the PS2 and original Xbox, as well as through Sonic Adventure DX on the GameCube. But yeah, if you want to play this game on modern hardware, after the 3DS eShop closes at the end of the month, your only official way to play Sonic 1 8-bit will be to unlock the game through the Steam or Xbox ports of Sonic Adventure DX. I guess this is better than nothing, but I don't know. I don't really like the idea of the only official re-release for a game being as an unlockable reward in a completely unrelated game, which in and of itself isn't even really especially accessible anymore, with no way to play Sonic Adventure DX on Switch or PlayStation. Luckily, Sega actually just announced Sonic Origins Plus, which is set to release in June of this year and will include the Game Gear version of Sonic 1 8-bit, along with a playable Amy and some other Game Gear titles. So if you could stand to wait until then, you thankfully won't need to worry about rushing out to buy the game on 3DS. If you want to play the superior Master System version though, unless you've got a Nintendo Wii and happen to have bought the game before the Wii Shop closed in 2019, then, well, you're just shit out of luck. Or, you know, you could also just emulate it. Now, I'm not saying that you should pirate this game, but anyway, that's pretty much all I've got for today. I'm gonna try to be a little more consistent with these uploads going forward. So if you don't want to miss the next time I decide to climb out of my gamer man cave, make sure you click all that YouTube bullshit down there. Don't forget to ring that bell, gamers. I'll catch you guys on the flippity flop. Peace. Oh, and also check out my Twitter and Patreon if you want. Next video is gonna be a Let's Play. Here's a preview.
Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I hope you don't mind, but I have to record this in the laundry room. But anyway, yeah, this is pretty much my this is a speed run of Sonic. What is this? Which one is this?